name is Cadence, and I will be doing my passions project over the James Webb Telescope. So what is the James Webb Telescope? The James Webb Telescope is often compared to its predecessor, the Hubble, but there are many differences between them. The main one being that the James Webb Telescope is far more advanced and it uses infrared light. Here I have some side-by-side comparison images of the James Webb Telescope and the Hubble. Here on the left we have the Hubble, and on the right we have the James Webb Telescope. And this is actually a very interesting image because this formation is called the Pillars of Creation, and the reason that it's called that is because it's made up of all the gases and dust that are used to form new stars. I have some more here on the left. We have the Hubble, in the middle we have a combination of the two, and on the right we have the James Webb Telescope. This is all the James Webb Telescope, and it's just a combination of nebulas, galaxies, and stars. So what is the appeal of the James Webb Telescope? Well, first is, of course, the mystery of space. A telescope that's floating through space, capturing images that we've never seen before, of course, that's going to appeal to the mystery of space. And the second is the weight. People who have been following the progress of the James Webb Telescope from the very beginning have been waiting 30 years for its launch date. What is the history? The construction of the telescope began in 2004 with the primary contractor Northrop Grumman. The launch site was set by 2005 at the European Space Agency Center Spatial Guianas, or CGS. The mirror was completed and met NASA's requirements by 2011. There were some bumps in the road. They had their first completion by 2016, and they had set the launch date to 2018. This was pushed back, however, due to engineers finding that a crucial sun shield was at risk of tearing. And finally, we have our launch day on December 25th, 2021 at 6:20 a.m. CST. The James Webb Telescope was finally launched into space. So you're probably wondering what exactly the James Webb Telescope does. Well, it's going to attempt to uncover the history of the universe, and we'll try to prove or disprove the Big Bang Theory, see if there was light before the Big Bang. It will also be used to better understand the formation of exoplanets and more. And there has actually been some recent updates on the Big Bang Theory. They're thinking that there wasn't one because they looked back to where they thought the first light was, and there were galaxies that were far more mature than they should have been for the time. So why is this important for us? Well, this is going to provide an understanding of temperature and chemical composition, which will help us with issues relating to long-term shifts in weather patterns. This would be our overall climate and just day-to-day weather. It will also allow us to see if planets orbiting other stars could support life. It would also end up answering many existential questions such as, is there life on other planets? So what is the future of the James Webb Telescope? There are four main focus areas, and the first is the first light in the universe. The second is the assembly of galaxies in the early universe. The third is the birth of stars. And the fourth is planets and the origins of life. This is inside and outside of our galaxy. They're going to be looking at exoplanets, and not everybody knows what exoplanets are. Exoplanets are basically just planets that are outside of our galaxy and orbiting other stars in other galaxies. Here are my references. We'll move over. Are there any questions?
I do have a question. You referred to the Hubble and the James Webb kind of being together with that one picture that you showed where they're together and then side by side how the differences are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the James Webb is going to replace eventually the Hubble telescope, and do you know of anything that might be even more technologically advanced to replace the James Webb in future years?
I'm not sure about anything that is, well, actually I have heard about some things that they're in the very beginning stages. They don't even have names for them yet, but they're always looking for, more advancements and that kind of thing. And I do think that the Hubble is kind of replacing the Webb, because many of the images that the Hubble took the James Webb Telescope has already taken, and those were just kind of like test runs for the Webb. It's already going on and doing better things.
I have another question, just for those of us that aren't as space-oriented as you are. What is the main difference between the average everyday telescope and the James Webb Telescope? Is it just a bigger replica of like the telescopes we use, or are there additional equipment and scientific things that go into its construction?
Well, the main difference is that, of course, it's moving, and it's not capturing images like a normal telescope would, because if you're looking through a normal telescope, it's just magnifying an image from where you're looking through the glass in a very advanced way with lots of little mirrors. And it's kind of similar in that way with all the mirrors, but what it's doing is it has radios and transmitters that it's kind of like echolocation in a way. It's sending out infrared light, and it's bouncing back off of everything. And the way that that's working is because it's looking back in time is what it's doing, because how we're seeing it with this is how it was millions of years ago. But yeah, it doesn't work in the same way because it's sending out light and receiving the light and then sending those images back to us.
So I find this topic very fascinating, 'cause I find space interesting. I don't understand it, but I find it interesting. And so you got the Hubble telescope that's going out there, right? And then you got James Webb that's going, are they following the same path down through space? And then my second kind of follow-up is, are they already out of our galaxy?
No, they're not already out of our galaxy, as far as I know. What they're doing is, I don't think they're following the same path either. I think it's just a rotation, and they're getting far enough out. I mean, they are traveling in that direction, but it's sending out signals that are,
In different directions.
yeah, far beyond
'Cause
where it actually is.
It's capturing some of the same images, which would make sense, because from a scientific standpoint, I would want to know if this more advanced one is going to give me a better picture than this one picture I've already got.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't know if they were trying to follow the same path. And then, and you might not know this, what is the distance these things can go before we lose connectivity with them?
I don't know, and there's actually, they don't use regular radio transmitters. It's a special frequency kind of one, so they can go a very long ways. I mean, the Hubble is out there,
Yeah.
and we still, but I'm not sure.
Okay, very cool.
Okay, so this is a trifold board of the James Webb Telescope. In the middle here, I put the target star. This was the very first image. Well, it wasn't the very first image we got from the James Webb Telescope, but it's the first completed one. If you look it up on Google, you can actually find like the very first images that we as the public got, and it's literally just a bunch of dots here and there. And then this, it's like all the dots moving together to create a picture. I think that's really cool. This is an image of what the James Webb Telescope actually looks like, and I just have some images from the Webb and the Hubble, and these are kind of blurry, but this is some more comparison images of a nebula that was captured by the James Webb Telescope, and here's the Hubble image.
I see some information written on your board, but my eyes quite won't let me see it. So would you mind sharing what's on there?
Okay, yeah, sure. This says the ultimate goal of the James Webb Telescope is to learn more about the assembly of galaxies, birth of stars, the first light in the universe, and the origins of life. How does it work? The James Webb Telescope uses infrared light mirrors to reflect images that are in the range of light and use high-frequency radio transmitters to transfer the images back to Earth. And I can read the other ones. The first fully constructed image from the telescope was what was called a target star, which was within the Big Dipper, but the name of HD 84406. The star wasn't so much as for the research purposes of the telescope, but the star was but aiding the mirrors in alignment and sort of a test run for the telescope. The star was also the same star that the James Webb Telescope predecessor, the Hubble, used as its target star. And I have my visual aid. It's kind of dirty because it got left in a tree house for a little while. But it's just supposed to look like the James Webb Telescope, and this is just like a gold candy wrapper. It's like for a chocolate bar. I think you can get them at Walmart. But yeah, I've made it out of Legos, and this is wood with duct tape over it. It has a little radio on it for the radio transmitter. I like Legos.
Oh, that's cool. So is it just a simplified version of the overall like James Webb Telescope?
Mm-hmm.
Kids, I have one other question before we finish up. Does the James Webb Telescope have a predetermined destination, so when they have sent it off it has a place it's going? Or is it random? Does it just kind of like, okay, this asteroid is coming at me, I changed my own path?
Well, there was actually, that actually did cause some complications because it does have a predetermined destination, and they're going to kind of like decide where it wants to go after it's reset, but that's a ways away. But there was an asteroid that hit one of the mirrors, and the mirrors are actually designed so that if something does hit it, that they can move themselves, like rearrange and turn so that they make up for the lost mirror. So, but fortunately it wasn't a super damaging hit. If it had been one of the middle ones, it would have been worse, but it was luckily one of the ones that was on the outside.